Hi guys, you're welcome to this YouTube channel. So today we're going to be talking about how you can create a size chart, for your clothing line. So just before I start, let me introduce myself. My name is Oluwakemi Ajayi, and I'm a fashion tutor, right? So before we kick off, I need you to tell me where you're watching me from. First of all, I want to test my microphone. I need to be sure you can hear me. So just type hello, type hi, tell me you can hear me. Then tell me where you're watching me from. For instance, my name is Lillian. I'm watching from Kaduna State. My name is John. I'm watching from United States. You just tell me where you're watching me from and your name. And most importantly, let me know if you can hear me. So just say hello, say hi, just type something so that I know you can hear me. Yeah. So I'll just wait for about 1 or 2 minutes so that more people come online, and then I don't need to start repeating myself all over again, right? So let's quickly do that. So if you can hear me, just say hello, say hi. I'm trying to set up my system so that I can monitor our comments and probably our questions. So just say hello, say hi. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, just say I can hear you. Tell me where you're watching me from, okay? So let's do that in the next 1 or 2 minutes. So let me know, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Okay, good. So like I said, I'm trying to monitor the comments, okay, on the system so that I know people can hear me. Then feel free to share the link of this tutorial to your friends, okay? So mind you, just permit me, I'm looking at my screen to be sure that there's no question or whatsoever. All right, so it's not yet time for questions. When it's time for questions, I'll let us know. So let me go over the introduction again. My name is Oluwakemi Ajayi. I'm a fashion tutor and a dressmaker. So I've been getting a lot of requests from dressmakers that I should do a tutorial on how you can create a size chart for your clothing brand. Now, what's a size chart? A size chart is usually used by those who are into ready to wear, okay? Those who sell ready-made or ready to wear. You understand? Now, a ready to wear is different from a bespoke wear, because for bespoke, the customer has to walk into your store or something. You have to take measurements and make that garment for that particular person, right? But for ready to wear, or for those that are into mass production, you can't keep measuring everybody. You can't keep inviting everybody that come, let me measure you before you produce. That will not work, right? So you have to use what is called a size chart. Now, there is no specific size charts. Different countries, different brands, different companies, they have different size charts. Now, but the only thing is, there is a similarity between those charts, okay? Now, it depends on what you want to produce. Now, that brings me to the factors you should consider before, creating your own size chart. Number 1, you need to consider the sex. Are you producing for females, for male, for children? That's one. Then secondly, you need to consider the type of clothing. If you want to be producing just shorts, jumpsuits, then there are certain measurements you need to, to put in place for you to be able to produce in large production, in large quantity, I beg your pardon. Okay, if you want to produce just tops and dresses, if you want to, it depends on what you want to produce. So number one, you need to consider the sex. Secondly, you need to consider the type of garment. Okay, so those are the factors you consider before you create a size chart. Then secondly, you also need to consider I don't know the appropriate word to use now. The type of, I'm looking for the right word. The type of race you want to produce for, okay? For instance, like Africans, blacks, okay? So blacks have more, they have big bum bum, small boobs, narrow waist, and all of that, okay? So you need to put all of that into consideration, okay? Okay, so next thing now is, how do you create your size charts? Okay, now this afternoon I'm going to be using tops and dresses as a sample. Tops and dresses as an example. Now, if you want to be producing tops and simple dresses, okay, there are certain measurements that you need. Or let me call them the basic measurements. Now, basically what you need is bust circumference, the waist circumference, and the hip circumference, right? Now, there are some other measurements that you could actually walk around, but these three measurements that I just mentioned now are the basic measurements you need if you want to create a size chart for tops and dresses. Okay, now not jumpsuits, not skirts. Okay, tops and dresses. Now, if you check Google, if you go to Google and Google size chart, okay, this is what you're going to be seeing. You're going to see something like this. Now, the charts will come in sizes and the measurements. Okay, so you have, for the measurement, you have busts. Now, for some size charts, the measurements are measured in centimeter, while some are measured in inches. It depends on what you use, right? So, but I will be working with inches. I'll be working with inches now, right? So, you have bust circumference, waist circumference, and hip circumference. Now, you'll notice that these other two measurements here, I wrote it in red because they are actually not, they are optional. They don't have to be in your size chart, because if you're selling to people, especially online, okay, people can easily relate to their bust, waist, and hip measurements. But if you start asking a customer, what's your across back? What's your arm circumference? They might not relate to that. But an average person knows their bust, waist, and hip circumference, right? Then you have different sizes. So you can have size 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, and so on. And then sizes are always in even numbers. So it's either 2, it's 4, it's 6. There is nothing like size 1 or size 3 or size 5. Sizes are always in even numbers. Or you can have something like small size, medium, large, extra, some people have their size charts like that. Okay, so those are the things you're going to consider, okay? The measurements and, of course, the sizes. Now, like I said before now, there is no fixed size charts, okay? Now, if you go to Google and check online, those size charts, they have a lot of things, they have a lot of similarities. You might not see two, it's very difficult for you to see two size charts that have the same measurements. No. But you will, it will be similar. For instance, now this is my own sample size chart. For someone of size 2, it means if I'm producing in large quantity, or I'm doing it ready to wear, right, and I want to produce a top or something like what I'm putting on right now, it means that if I'm doing for size 4, I'll be working with bust 34 inches, waist 25 inches, and hip 35. This is for size 4. Now, like I said earlier on, if you check another company or another person that isn't ready to wear and you check their size charts, you will find out that for their own size 4, their own bust circumference might be 33.5. Okay? And their own waist might be 24.5 or 25.5. Okay? That's so all those size charts, they are not actually the same. Now, why are they not the same? Why are they not the same? Now, this is it. When you start a clothing line, okay, and you start selling to people, for instance, okay, you say, okay, hi guys, I'm selling tops, and my size 8, okay, is bust 36, waist 27, and hip 38. Okay, now 10 people can come forward, 10 customers can come forward and say they are size 8. But do you know that it is very possible that out of that 10, not everybody's waist is 36. Some people's waist might fall to 35. Sorry, some people's bust might be 35, but their waist is 27 and 38. You understand? And I'm sure you can relate to this. Before a lot of us became dressmakers, okay, when you go to the market to buy a ready-made clothes, you might see a dress you like and you put it on. Okay, the bust and the hip might be perfect, but the waist is big or the waist is small. But because you like the dress, you buy it, right? So that's the thing we're ready to wear. Just because you design particular measurement for a particular size doesn't mean that everyone that is that size 8, for instance, will all these measurements will suit them. Okay, and coming back to why we have different size charts. By the time you open a clothing line and you start selling, for instance, your size 8 is 36, bust 36, waist 27, and hip 38. Okay? Now, over time, if you have all the people that are buying size 8 complaining to you that the hip is tight, that's a sign. That's a sign. Maybe like 20 people bought size 8 from you and they're all complaining that size 8, the hip is a bit tight. Okay? So you can conduct a survey. Probably those 20 people, just random survey. You can just randomly measure 20 size 8s. So if everybody falls within 38, 39, 38, 39, 38, 39, so you can have an average. You can now do 38 plus 39 divided by 2. So you arrive at 38.5. Or you can even decide to do 39. You understand? So as time goes on, you can alter your charts. Okay? Now what about maybe people that are wearing size 12? Okay? Their bust circumference is probably 38.5, their waist is 30, and their hip is 42. And they keep complaining to you that the bust is too big. Okay? For maybe size 12. Like 6 people are complaining to you, your dresses are so lovely, but that's size 12. I think the bust is big. It's a sign. So you can alter the measurement a little. So instead of using 38.5, you can do 38. Or you can do 37.5. You know, as time goes on, you're going to be altering your pattern until everything stabilizes. Then also, you can check out your maybe other clothing brands, compare their size charts, do 1 or 2 corrections and all of that. You understand? So this is just a sample. This is a sample of a size chart if you want to into dresses and tops. Then for the across back measurement, like I said, you can't be asking a customer for this. What is your across back? What is your arm? They don't know. But someone walks into your boutique or your store and the person like, I want to get a dress. I don't know my size. And you're like, okay, what's your hip? My hip is 40. So easily this is hip 40. The person will easily fall into what? Size 10. You get it? So that's just it. Then now for the across back, these measurements, the across back and the armhole, you don't need to include this on your website or the size chart you want to give to your customers. This should be at your own back end. This should be used when you're drafting your own patterns. Okay, now for across back, let me just give us a little tip. Okay, it doesn't work all the time, but like it's not 100% correct, but like let me say like 85% accurate. Okay, so for this across back, as a guide, what I do as a guide is you know, when you're adapting your basic bodies. Okay, okay, let me not go into too much explanation so I will not confuse some people. Now this is as a guide, the difference between your across back and quarter of your bust circumference should be between 2 inches, 2.5 inch maximum, except for people that have irregular sizes. I said it's a guide. For instance, someone that has bust 32, quarter of 32 is 8. So you can see that the difference between 8 and 6 is what? 2 inches. So when you're adapting the basic bodies pattern, the distance from, the armhole should not be too far from the bust measurements. I don't know whether I'm making sense, So just have that as a guide, okay? For the across back measurements, yeah, okay? For you to get the across back measurements, yeah, the difference between the across back and quarter of the bust should be within 2 inches and 2.5 inches. A guide. So this one is for your own personal consumption. You don't need to put this on your website or show this to your customers. This is for when you're drafting, or when you're giving this to your pattern drafters or whatever. Okay. So let's look at size 12. Okay, let me pick a number that is easily divided by 4. Okay, this is size 14, bust 40. I said quarter of your bust. Bust 40 is quarter of 40 is 10. Okay, so difference between 10 and the across back for bust 40 is 7.5. Can you see that? So 10 and 7.5, that's 2.5 difference. Okay, so I'm just giving us is a tip for determining getting your across back measurement when you want to draft, because you cannot be calling the customer and say, come, let me measure your across back. So you have to work this out yourself. So I am saying that as a guideline, the difference between quarter of your bust circumference and your across back measurement should range between 2 and 2.5. That's a guide. Okay, then for armhole circumference 2, same thing with armhole circumference. Okay, armhole circumference is the distance. This is it here. This is how to measure your armhole circumference, like this. Okay, so armhole circumference can range from as low as 13, even 12. Yes, as low as 13 to 14 to 15. Okay, to this is 7 3/4, 8, that's 16, 8.5 is 17. Of course, anybody whose armhole circumference is tending towards 9, definitely the bust circumference is already increasing. Okay,